attempting to whitewash history.
Where everything discussed is how horrible our country is, how bad slavery was, and how unaccomplished the downtrodden have been. Back in March, the president signed an
Spineless black conservatives cheerleading the whitewashing of history by Donald Trump. Allow us to dive into this video.
President Trump says he has instructed his lawyers to scour through America's museums to rid them of exhibits he considers woke, specifically citing exhibits on slavery.
Woke exhibits on slavery. Make that make sense, Trump. We'll see his hypocrisy later on in this video when his first term, he visited an African-American museum and he called it a beautiful thing, done with love and compassion. How time changes or how situations bring forth the truth out of individuals. Allow us to dive back in.
President Trump targeted the Smithsonian museums, saying they are, quote, out of control, where everything discussed is how horrible our country is, how bad slavery was, and how unaccomplished the downtrodden have been.
So what he is trying to say is slavery wasn't bad, that this country doesn't have major issues, but it had major issues when he wasn't in office and Biden was in office. He talked about how the country would be destroyed, how bad the left and the radical left is. This is his words. But when it comes to slavery, when it comes to all these things that those who are funding him want to see erased, he wants to talk about how we should not allow our kids to know the truth of American history. You want to whitewash American history. That is disgusting. And those black, conservative, spineless individuals who do not push back against this, you are disgusting as well. Allow us to dive back in.
Back in March, the president signed an executive order directing the Smithsonian Institution, which runs more than 20 museums in Washington and elsewhere, to, quote, celebrate American exceptionalism and remove divisive or partisan narratives.
He wants to celebrate only that which can be seen as good. That is not the true history of any nation or any individual. When you engage in situations where you are trying to hide something that is true because it is damaging to a certain narrative, then you are a hypocrite. Your actions are insidious and you're trying to push a narrative that is not true. Push the whole narrative. This is the only way, if there is a way, that this nation can unite. And I don't see it uniting, and it's definitely not going to unite as long as you continue to try to hide the truth and try to sanitize the evil that the founding fathers, the colonies, and those out there engaged in. No, two things can be true. They could have produced a great constitution, the founding fathers. They were great for white men who had property, and they benefited, and those other whites benefited from the laws that they ingrained when it made black people 3/4 of a human being. They were absolutely racist. No sane human being who is not racist will label another human being 3/4 of a human being in order to be able to justify the evil that they heap upon those black individuals and to justify other things when it comes to property, etc. They are evil. They were evil individuals as well as they were great individuals for certain causes. Two things can be true. They were the thorn in the side every slave that was under that oppressive rule, that the laws that they codified, enacted, were racist at their base, exploitive and detrimental to human growth, specifically black human growth. So again, they were racist. There's no way around. Allow us to let him continue.
Last month, the Smithsonian removed references to Trump in an exhibit on presidential impeachments in the Museum of American History. Mentions of Trump's impeachments were later restored, although with changes. Now he's complaining about exhibits on slavery, Although during his first term, he visited the Museum of African American History and Culture, which tells the story of slavery and celebrates African American accomplishments, and he called it a, quote, truly great museum done with love.
What changed his mind? Who got in his ear? What has caused him to want to erase the true history of America? Slavery was a bad thing. Your attempt to undermine slavery, your attempt to act as if it didn't happen, your attempt to try to deflect and say, well, there was slavery in other nations, etc. So be it. It was wrong in their nation. It's wrong here. We're talking about American slavery. I'm a descendant of slaves, so I don't want to hear your foolish argument that it happened everywhere else. Yes, just as sexual assaults happen everywhere else. Would you tell a sexual assault victim that, oh, it happens everywhere else? No, you wouldn't, because you sound foolish. And you sound somewhat like you have an underlining racial tone to yourself. Something racist about you is in that tone when you want to deflect, redirect, and minimize the brutality of what came before us. That doesn't represent you if you're not the individual. And I would never hold any human being, no matter what their race is, for the evils that people who preceded them, I put that at their footstep. But you do not erase the history. You do not attempt to sanitize the history. That shows that you have no empathy or sympathy for what transpired that not only affected those slaves in the moment, but the 100-year after with the Jim Crow, and then the subsequent COINTELPRO operations, all these things that was done to break the black community. And this is why you can never allow them to whitewash history. Again, allow him to continue.
It's not clear whether President Trump actually has the authority to tell any museum, including the museums of the Smithsonian Institution, what to put on display. The American Alliance of Museums, which represents museums across the country, says that no president has the power to impose the kind of review that Trump says he is now ordering. The organization has warned that the president's actions represent a, quote, growing threat of censorship against museums in America.
The same thing that these Republicans say that they are against. They say they are against censorship. They say they are against all these things that they say that the left is for, they are against. But when it comes to their agenda, they are for it. And he is for censorship of truth. You can't make this type of stuff up. An administration that will protect pedophiles and hide the truth of that, no. So it's no wonder that they would try to hide the truth of history if it reflects badly on people that they have put on pedestals who should never be on a pedestal without the whole story being given. Don't try to erase the history. Tell the truth and allow those mature individuals to deal with history in a mature way. And this is the only way that this nation will ever become close. And I don't know that that's going to happen. Us as individuals, we can become close. No matter what the race, no matter what the ethnicity, I deal with people based off character, not based off their race. I see their race. I understand their race. I understand that we are slightly different. I understand that we have uniqueness. And I understand at the end of the day, I'm judging you based on your character. I don't deal with certain black people, will never deal with them because of their character. And I deal with many white people, I deal with them because of their character. Same thing. I would deal with any black person who has character. I would deal with any white person who has character. Any Hispanic person who has character. And I'm not dealing with anybody who doesn't have character, no matter what their race, their ethnicity, or their shared heritage. But this is ridiculous, is what Trump is attempting to do. So I'll leave you with that. If you like the video, like, subscribe,